Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker sharing with you about belonging in this hashtag Better Together devotion for today. You know, one of the things that it takes to belong is to be welcomed and kind of named. I talked about that at the beginning of the week. A big part of belonging, though, is not just being welcomed, but also being included, being feeling like you are a part of the group as a whole. Now, in the scriptures and in human history, we have gone through several ways of dividing one another. In fact, the entire understanding of life, as you read the Old Testament in particular, is a lot about dividing life from the chosen and the unchosen, the clean and the unclean, the kosher and unkosher, all that kind of stuff. And when we get to Jesus in the New Testament, when we get to the Gospels, one of the things that Jesus dramatically challenges and fulfills is that the chosen people were meant to be chosen to be a blessing, be blessed to be a blessing to the whole world. And Jesus started breaking down those barriers and breaking down those divisions so that those who were on the outside could now become part of the inside, so that those who were ostracized could now be a part of the center. And nowhere is this more clearly done than in the book of Acts when Peter is fasting and has that picnic vision of pork chops and bacon and all that kind of stuff, and he encounters a Roman centurion named Cornelius. Now, this is the outsider of outsiders. He's Gentile. He's a part of the power structure. He's a part of the problem from a Jewish perspective. There's all kinds of things wrong here, and yet Peter, in his dream and in his vision from God, senses that this is what our faith is truly about. Not simply welcoming people and then trying to form them in our own image. We're guilty of that a lot. Or not trying to fix them or somehow shame them and guilt them to where they feel just as horrible as we do. No, we're not called to do that. We are called to welcome and include. To welcome and include. So when someone is different than us, whether they love differently, whether they look differently skin tone wise, whether they have different abilities, because they're on a different spectrum, that is okay. Christ simply says, welcome. Welcome them and include them, and I'll go further than that, affirm them. Welcome, include them. Make them feel like they belong. Peter does this with Cornelius. Peter does this with the church at Antioch, which, by the way, was all Gentiles for the most part. He begins seeing clearly, and in the book of Acts, he says, I have begun to see clearly that Christ did not just die for the Jews. Christ did not just die for those chosen, so to speak, who we think are chosen. Christ came for all. Christ loves all. Let us welcome and let us include fully all to be better together. Amen.